Thanks for tuning in. Today's practice is going to be hip openers and upper back openers. Thanks for tuning in. Today's practice is going to work with opening the front of the hips and the belly and also the upper back. If you're sitting a lot during the day on your computer or maybe you're driving your car, we tend to take this slumped over position where the hips are closed and tight and the upper back is hunched over. Today we'll be working with going the other way. So extending the hips back behind us and then opening through the chest and the upper back. To begin this practice, you can come to lie all the way down on your back. And the pattern is when you breathe in and the lungs fill up, the belly expands upward towards the ceiling. And when you breathe out and exhale the breath from the lungs, you can feel the belly relaxing down underneath your hand. And so we breathe all the time throughout the day, but rarely do we notice the breath or do we do the breathing slowly. So take this time to breathe nice and slow, allowing your inhale to last 5 seconds or so. And then allowing your exhale to last also 5 seconds. So really evening out the breath. And now that you've created a slow and steady way of breathing, see if you can stay connected to that throughout today's class. Take your feet so that the soles of them are together and your knees are out to the side. You can think of your legs kind of like the wings of a butterfly. And then add to this your arms reaching out to the sides as well, so they become their own wings. With the legs extended out and the arms reaching out, take a deep breath in. And then when you exhale, can you pull your legs together, extend your arms in front of you, and touch your palms to each other? Then when you inhale, open out again. So think of this as like a butterfly might flap its wings, only we're moving really slowly. Exhale, palms come together, and the inner thighs come together. Do this a few times, opening as you deeply breathe in and closing as you breathe all the air out. And one more flap of our wings. Inhale, open wide. And then exhale, close the shape. And keep your legs how they are for now. Open your arms back out to the sides like a T. Lift your feet off the floor so your thighs come in close to your belly. And can you add a gentle rock side to side? So you're just pivoting the knees and twisting the hips a little bit. As you're doing this, pay attention to the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, or what are called your shoulder blades, pressing into the mat. So we're not letting those lift off as we shift the weight of the hips one way and then the other. You might notice this feels really good on the lower back, like a little pressure massage. Let's take this into a twist. Take your legs and drop them all the way over to the right. The left shoulder may lift off the floor, that's okay. Can you turn your head to the left, so looking towards your left hand? Take a few breaths here. And then slow and gradual, bring your head back to the center and your legs back to the center. And then let your legs go to the left as your head turns to the right. Taking a few breaths here, twisted this direction. Yourself all the way back to the center and hug your legs in using your arms. Then let's mobilize our hip joints. Keep your right leg hugged into your body and send your left leg nice and long along the mat. Hold your right knee with your right hand. So you're going to go right over the top of the knee, holding over the top. And then invite your hip to circle. So you can think of it as using your arm to stir your leg around and around. And that circle can be small or it can be big. One thing to pay attention to is when you circle your leg, can you try to not turn your body to the right? So as you circle the leg out, keep your belly button and your hips pointing straight up to the ceiling. Then circle it all the way back around. Interlace your hands right behind your thigh and stretch your leg up maybe all the way or 3/4 of the way. Push your heel towards the ceiling and pull your toes back towards your face. Releasing that hamstring or beginning to open up through the back of that thigh. While you're up there, travel your ankle in a bit of a circle, moving one direction. And then switch it back and go the opposite way. Then relax the foot and ankle. Give the knee one more hug from the front. You can use both hands. And release your right leg long. Let's switch. Hug the left leg in. Using just your left hand, hold over the top of your knee, and then stir the leg like you're stirring a giant pot of soup. Try not to let your hips pivot. So keep your belly button pointing straight up to the ceiling, chest pointing straight up to the ceiling. Then circle that leg all the way back around, interlace behind the thigh, send the leg up. It might be all the way straight or 3/4. Heel presses up, toes pull back towards you. Then invite that left ankle to do its circular motion. And do a few rounds the opposite way. Then relax left foot, left ankle, hug the knee in from the front, and then join your right knee in that hug as well. Crisscross your ankles one over the other, and then hold into your knee creases. So you're going to go right behind the knees where they fold. Do a little rocking forward and backwards, giving your spine a massage. And then can you rock yourself right up to a seat? Legs are crossed. Staying cross-legged, sit up really tall through your spine. Put your right hand beside your hip with the fingertips pointing out rather than forward or behind you. And left arm goes up and over, side bend to the right. And you can make your side bend just static where you're holding and reaching. You can also twist a little. Twist your chest towards the floor, twist your chest open to the ceiling, and add that little bit of rotation. And bring it back to just that side bend. Take a big reach, straightening that left elbow as you fold over to the right. And then push that right hand into the floor, switch your arms, other hand by the hip, fingertips pointing out, up and over, side bending through the spine. And again, you can keep it static or you can add some movement, rotating the chest to the ground, rotating the chest to the ceiling. And then coming back to that big side reach, how far over can you stretch? And pressing into your left hand, coming all the way back up. Let's take it to tabletop, hands and knees. Putting your wrists under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Check in with your shins that they're not poking out to the side, that they're not crossed through the middle. They're parallel with one another. Moving through cow and cat, when you inhale, can you drop your belly, pull your chest forward, and lift your chin up to the sky? Now, when you exhale, can you tuck your tailbone underneath you, lift your belly, and drive your chin underneath you towards your chest? As you inhale, you climb up the spine and create an arch, chest forward and chin up. And then when you're exhaling, round. See if you can round from the tailbone, then bringing it all the way up the spine until the neck and chin fold under. Take a few on your own. So when we come into cow, we get a nice stretch along the belly and the front of the hips. And then as you're rounding into your cat, stretching all those muscles along the back and the spine. And one last time. And then come to neutral, and that will feel like you're not rounding in cat and you're not angling in cow pose. The spine feels nice and straight. Take your right hand behind your head so you'll cradle the back of your skull, and the right elbow will stay wide out to the side like a wing. Now rotating, inhale, open your chest to the right. And then when you exhale, can you bring that right elbow across to touch your left forearm? So inhale, you open up. And exhale, you close. Do this 2 more times. Keep your elbow wide, so you're not squeezing your elbow towards the side of your face. You're keeping it out like a wing. As you open up, and then as you bring it across this last round. Coming back to place the right hand under the right shoulder. The left hand catches the back of the head, elbows wide like a wing. Inhale, open left. Exhale, come across. Can you tap your left elbow to your right forearm underneath your body? Breathing and moving with the breath. One more. The big inhale opens you. And then that exhale closes up the front. Coming back, left hand under the left shoulder. Now move your knees back a couple of inches each. Tuck your toes under. Push your butt to your heels. Pause for 5 seconds, stretching the undersides of your feet with those toes tucked right under. And then from here, you can raise your knees and your shins and hips up and back into our first downward facing dog. Now, it seems to me that we've hit winter overnight. So move around in downward dog. It might feel tighter than it usually does because our bodies are cold. So perhaps bend one knee and push the other heel to the floor. You can also experiment with both legs almost straight and the hips swinging side to side. So just creating a little bit of dynamic movement in your downward dog pose. Then both legs almost straight, heels dropping towards the ground. Take a deep breath in and use your exhale to slowly walk your feet forward towards the front of your yoga mat. When they get there, bend your knees, hang over, hold your elbows, ragdoll pose. And here's another one where you could stay still, or you could add a little bit of movement, swinging to the right and swinging to the left. Let the top of your head release heavy towards the floor, so you're not trying to hold your head up in this position. You're just letting gravity take over. Then find the center. Bring your hands to your hips. Feel how your chest opens when you do that. Push into your feet and unhinge the hips to come up to standing. Release your arms by your sides with your palms facing forward and stand up tall and strong in mountain pose. Let's move through 2 rounds of sun salutations. When you inhale, raise your arms out and up. Lift your chin slightly. When you exhale, fold out and down. Then inhale, hands to shins. Can you extend your spine nice and long in a forward direction? And as you exhale, hands go under the shoulders and legs step back to plank pose, the top of a push-up. Let's hold plank for a few breaths. Notice if your hips are sagging to the floor. Can you lift them so they're more in alignment with your shoulders? If you need to, you can always bend your knees. Now take a deep breath in and then exhale, lower down. The elbows bend backwards, not out to the sides, and you come flat onto the body. Point your toes, press the hands, and inhale. Curve your spine up into cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Lift the hips up and back into downward dog. As you're breathing in down dog, bring your awareness to your fingers. Press all 10 of them into your yoga mat. Bring your awareness to your hips and reach them back towards whatever's behind you. Bring your awareness to your heels and let them drop towards the floor. They may or may not touch the ground. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Slowly walk your feet to your hands. Hands to shins. Inhale, extend the back, flat like a table. Exhale and fold. Let your head go. Let everything hang over. Then inhale, rebound, push the legs, reach all the way up. Lift your chin slightly. And exhale back to your mountain, standing tall. One more. Inhale, float the arms, lift the chin. Exhale, hinge and fold over your legs. Inhale, extend the back, hands to shins if needed. Exhale, plank, top of a push-up. Not sagging. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower the knees, come to the floor. Inhale, curve the upper spine up and back, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, raise your hips up and back, downward facing dog. 5-second inhales. 5-second long exhales. And take a deep breath in. As you're exhaling, bend your knees. Maybe you look forward. Inhale, you can step or you hop your feet to your hands. Half lift. Exhale, fold back over. Inhale, reach all the way to the top, sweeping the arms up, lifting the chin. And exhale back to your mountain pose, standing tall and strong. Now take your feet and step them as wide as your mat. If you don't have a mat, you'll step your feet as wide as your shoulders. Reach back and interlace your hands into one fist behind your back. See about straightening your elbows and notice that opening through the chest that happens when you do that. Now inhale, can you lift your chest up and your chin up? And when you exhale, bend your knees a little, stick your butt back, and fold your spine over. Once your head is hanging, think about taking the pinky side of your hand over towards the front edge of your yoga mat to get into the front of those shoulders. Breathe here. And you can keep your spine folded, release the hands, let them touch the floor at shoulders distance. Step your legs back to your downward dog, hips raised towards the sky. Then use an inhale and slowly lift your right leg up. When you lift your leg, take a look at your right toes, that they're pointing down to the floor, not out to the side of the room. Now pull your knee towards your chest, look forward, and step your right foot between your hands. If it doesn't make it, grab your ankle and do a scoot. Lower your back knee to the ground, untuck your back toes, and bring both hands onto your right thigh. Instead of letting the hips drop forward, can you pull your hips back so it'll feel like you're standing more vertical and tall? Tuck your tailbone underneath you, draw your belly button towards your spine, reach your left arm to the sky with your palm facing forward. Then you can begin to deepen into that lunge. So the front knee projects forward and reaches towards the front toes, feeling that opening in the hip flexors on the left-hand side. Now lean forward so your whole spine leans forward like a diagonal line. Keep reaching through that left hand. Now can you bring your left elbow, bend it and hook it across to the outside of your right knee. Match your hands together in prayer, taking this lunge twist. And you have the option to keep your back knee on the floor. If you want to explore, you can tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee straight up, and see that that left leg is all the way straight. If you lifted your knee, slowly land it without a crash. And then together, unwind from your twist, touch the floor. Pull those hips back until your right leg is straight, or almost straight, and your right toes are pointing up to the ceiling. Look towards your ankle and reach the crown of your head forward towards the front of your yoga mat. So while you're lengthening the leg, you're also lengthening the spine. Then slowly bending into the right knee to place the right foot down. Hands flat against the mat. Lift your back knee. Step it all the way back to down dog, hips reaching. Let's take the other side of crescent lunge. Left leg goes up slow, toes pointing down, not out. Left knee pulls underneath you towards your chest. Look forward and step the foot there. If it doesn't make it, scoot it. Right knee to the floor. Both hands to the left thigh. Pull back so you're not as deep. Tuck the tailbone, pull the belly button backwards, and reach your right arm. You might already be feeling this. You can add to it by bending the front knee more and sinking forward and down. Keep reaching up through your right hand. Now into the twist. It starts with leaning forward so the spine's on a diagonal. Bringing that right elbow, bending it, hooking it outside of your left leg. Hands together in prayer. Staying here or adding back knee lifted. Back leg straight and strong. If the knee came up, slowly tap it down. Unwind from the twist. Fingertips touch floor. Pull back, left leg straight, spine straight. Look towards your ankle, reach the top of your head forward. So you're actually making your neck longer when you do this. Neck is part of the spine. Bend your right knee, four corners of your right foot ground. Hands to floor, lift the right knee, step all the way back. Downward dog pose. Bring it down to child's pose. So let your knees come to the floor. Untuck your toes. Open your knees a little wide. Big toes come together so the shins pivot in. Sit back. Before dropping your head to the floor, can you walk over to the right and reach your hands and arms away from you, and then let the head sink down. Feel that stretch along the left hand side of you. So that stretch begins in the lower back. It goes all the way up the side of the waist, travels along the outer shoulder, over the upper arm, and down into the pinky side of that hand. Lifting the head up off the mat, travel through the center, walk it over to the left, push and reach your hands away, let your head come down, and feel right side body length from the low back, along the outer waist, all the way up to the outer shoulder, down the outer upper arm, forearm, and into the pinky side of that right hand. Bring it back up to the center and shift forward, hands and knees. Tuck toes, hips go back, down dog. Take a deep breath in your downward facing dog. Use your exhale to walk your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway, that flat back or spine reaching. Exhale and fold. From this fold, bend your knees so they're not locked out, they're not straight. And can you roll your spine up to standing? So engaging the belly on the way up until you've restacked to a tall spine position. Then take a stance that's wide. So I'm going to step back on my right leg and open up, but you might be stepping back on a different leg. Opening up the feet, so one of your own leg lengths is the distance between your 2 feet. Take the hands, or arms rather, and reach them up like a high diagonal line, and then reach back, interlace your hands behind your head. Now notice your elbows are probably squeezing in towards the face. I want you to pull them out to the sides so the chest gets really open. Belly button's pulling way back towards your spine. And you can feel your glutes or your butt muscles working in this one. Turn your right toes so they point to that front edge of your yoga mat, and turn your back foot in a little bit. So the back leg has a little pivot. Stand up as tall as you can. And then begin to hinge. So your spine is like in alignment with that long back leg. So you're staying tall even as you're folding over to the side. Now release your bottom hand to your shin and your upper arm straight to the sky and create triangle pose. Breathe into the chest. Breathe into the belly. And then look down with your eyes, push into your feet, come up to standing. Turn your feet so that they point the same direction, and then go back up to the high V position. Take it back to the interlace. Elbows wide, chest open, belly strong, butt strong. Left toes point out. Right foot turns in. Hinge slowly. So you'll feel this left hip crease is getting deeper. And then when you feel like, I don't know, it's hard to hold myself up here, use that bottom hand against the shin for support. Upper arm to the sky, triangle pose. Then look down, which will relax your neck and your jaw. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Arms reach horizontal, turn the 10 toes so they face the same direction. Then reach back, interlace your hands. That same position we did at the very beginning. Straighten the elbows. When you do that, can you feel your shoulders pull back, your chest opens wide? Inhale, lift up through the chin and the chest. Exhale, fold over from the hips hinging. Let your head hang. Then work on the pinky side of your hand, going up and over the head. And pushing down into the soles of your feet, come all the way up to standing slowly. Then release the interlace of the hands. Go back to arms horizontal, reaching wide, and then heel toe your feet out about 2 to 3 inches wider. Turn your right toes so they face the front of your yoga mat. Bend your right knee till your thigh bone's almost parallel to the floor. Then add left elbow onto the thigh, like a little propping up. Take that top arm and windmill it. You can do this with a perfectly straight arm. You could also do it with a bent elbow. Just see what feels the best inside of your body today. And we started moving one direction, so let's reverse it. Straight arm or bent elbow. Take it into overhead and hold there for a moment. Extended side angle pose. And then pull back through the upper arm and let that help you lift up to standing, straightening the front leg. Turn your feet, right toes in, left toes out. Other side, lunge. Prop up, elbow to thigh. Windmilling the long arm. Reversing your circular pattern. And then into that overhead, long by the ear position, breathe. And pull back through the upper arm, raise yourself to standing, straightening the front leg. Hands to your hips, all 10 toes facing. Now heel toe in, a whole bunch, until your feet are right underneath your own hips. So you're back in that mountain pose position. Hands come together in prayer. Put weight into your right leg and extend your left leg out to the side. Point your toes. So the leg isn't in front, it's not behind, it's right out to the side of the body. Navel to spine. And then practice tapping your big toe down, lifting that leg up. When you lift the leg up, you're lifting it as high as you can while keeping it in the side plane. And when you raise it, can you feel the strength of the outer hip? And you can feel your glutes coming into play as well. Next time you lift it up, hold it there. Notice if you're leaning too far to the side. Try to be standing straight through that right side while the left leg is off to the side. And then release, left foot under the left hip. Try the other side. Put weight into the left leg. Right leg goes out to the side, big toe is down. And then you're raising and you're lowering, just until the toe taps, and then lifting up again. There's a bit of a squeeze happening as you're lifting the leg. Next time you lift it, hold it out there. Try not to lean too far to the left while keeping that right leg hovering. Slowly land that right foot back underneath the hip. Relax your arms. Go back to that wide stance we had in triangle. So it's one of your own leg lengths. Arms horizontal. Right toes point out. Right knee bends just a little. Reach your right arm away from you, and can you reach towards the right hand corner of your yoga mat? Put your fingertips on the floor. Left hand to your hip. Stand on your right leg, raise your left leg. This pose is called half moon. So think of a 90-degree angle between the two legs, left arm to the sky. The foot that's lifted is flexed, the leg that's lifted is straight. Now you could stay here with your bottom hand touching the floor, or you could really activate your core and bring your bottom hand to your chest. It's challenging. Maybe you try it for 1 to 5 seconds. Let's bring it back to that triangle stance. Bend your front knee, land your back leg, and come up to standing, both legs straight, arms reaching. Turn the feet, so right one's in, left one's out. Add that little bit of knee bend, reach away, fingertips down. So they're not in front of your foot, they're a little off to the side. Right hand to hip, stand up on your left leg, lift your right leg. Find your balance. When you're ready, right arm to the ceiling. And then you could try bottom hand to chest. 1 second counts. Slowly bend into the left knee, land it back towards that triangle pose, coming up. Hands to hips, all 10 toes facing. Get pretty wide, so go feet fewer inches farther apart. Keep your hands on your hips. Inhale, lift your chest and your chin. Exhale, bow forward so you're halfway folded. Reach to the outsides of your ankles. Inhale, lengthen again, spine straight. Exhale, bend your elbows off to the sides. Let the crown of your head release towards the floor. You can always bend your knees any amount in this one to take some of that pull off of the back of your legs. And take hands from ankles, put them underneath you, flat to the floor or the mat. Inhale, flat back, reach the crown of your head forward. When you exhale, walk your way to the left. We're pivoting. And then step it all the way back to downward dog using the length of your yoga mat. Inhale, come forward to your plank pose. Exhale, let the knees come down and lower slowly, elbows bending backwards. Point the toes, press into the legs. Inhale, peel the spine, curl it up, cobra. And exhale, tuck toes, raise the hips up and back into your downward dog. From here into pigeon stretch, lift your right leg up, toes pointing down. Bring your knee underneath you. Land your knee behind your right wrist. What that means is your shin bones on a diagonal across the middle of your yoga mat. Inch your left leg back. Let's try this a little different today. So we usually just walk forward through the middle. But what about walking over to the right, like we did for that child's pose, and walking away? Letting the forehead come down. It may touch or your head might just hang. So think of the center of your chest is more in alignment and laying on top of that bent leg. And then stay low, walk it to the middle. So the regular pigeon that we all know and love. Let your forehead come down or forearms come down. And then stay low. Take it to the left so we're angling off, reaching the spine over that way, letting the head release. And coming all the way back to the center. When you arrive there in the middle, walk your hands and your arms back. Place your hands under the fronts of your shoulders, tuck the back toes, push the ground out of the way. Downward dog. Second side of pigeon, slowly float the left leg up, toes down. As you exhale, bring the knee underneath you towards that left wrist, shin bone on the angle. Inch your right leg back. And then we walk to the left. So the chest is laying or in alignment with that folded leg, that bent knee. Take a few breaths over in this direction. Now find the center, right out through the middle. Walk it forward, drop it down. Then keep it low, walk over to the right. So we're angling away from the bent leg. And bring it all the way back through to the center. Walk your hands back towards you. Instead of downward dog, take it to tabletop. So tucking the back toes under, the right knee steps forward, the left knee steps back. Once you're in table, invite your hips to travel in a circle. You might hear some popping and cracking coming from the knees or the ankles, maybe even the hips. Circle back the opposite direction. And then bring it to a tabletop, back to hands and knees. From there, bring it up to kneeling. So we've gotten a little shorter, but pretend you're standing in mountain pose. So the knees are under the hips, the spine is tall, the palms are facing forward. And take your arms behind you, straight, palms facing in. Start to turn your palms out. So you're going to roll the thumbs from facing in to turned out to the side. And then sweep your arms back and up like a big circular pattern. Cross your arms in front of you so they crisscross. And then begin it again. Sweep your arms behind you. Turn the palms up. Rotate them around. Cross the forearms. Kind of like swimming, right? But reach as far back as possible. Feel that stretch in the chest. Then circle high and forward. Crisscross at the forearms. One more time. Back. Palms out. Around. Feel the pec stretch. Up. Crossing the forearms in front. Sitting back, shins to one side, butt to the floor. And coming to this position. So the knees are bent, soles of the feet are grounded, hands are behind us with the fingertips pointing forward. Press into the arms so they straighten, so the elbow joints straighten. Press into the feet, and can you lift your hips as high as your chest? So we've taken tabletop and flipped it over. Then, if you're comfortable doing so, let your head gently move up and back. So you'll see what's behind you. Take a couple breaths, keep the hips nice and high, keep the hands pressing firmly down, reversing the tabletop. Use your next exhale to allow the hips to come to the floor and the chin to come to the chest. Very good. Extend your legs in front. Sit up tall through your spine. Bend your knees a little, so the heels are down, toes are up. There's a little space underneath the knees. Reach the arms in the same path as the spine, that vertical upwards. Exhale, fold forward, taking hold of what's reachable. It might be your feet or your ankles or your outer shins. Relax your head. Feeling the stretch all along the back of the body. Now you can keep your knees bent, or you could straighten your legs a bit more, keeping that folding over of the spine. And inhale to lengthen, and exhale to lift yourself to a tall back. You see that you have room to come onto your back. So bend your knees, arms reach, and a slow roll. Once you're down there, walk your heels in close to your sit bones. So heels are close to the butt. Bend your elbows, palms face into each other. So think of yourself as like a Lego person with those arms that are stuck bent. And then push into your feet, lift your hips off the floor. And then straighten your arms. Now you can stay here in this bridge, or you walk your arms closer together underneath your body. You might even make that interlace of the hands into that one fist. Keeping the hips high, keeping the belly button pulled in. Notice that big stretch along the fronts of your thighs and the front of your hips. Then use an inhale, heels come off the floor, arms reach overhead to separate those shoulders and come all the way down. Hug your legs in with your arms, give them a good embrace. Do some side to side rocking. Then take your arms wide like a T, but keep your legs pulled into you, and do some side to side rocking without having the arms hugging the legs. And take it into a full twist. Legs drop over to the right. Head turns to the left. Breathe slowly. Let's switch directions. Head to the right, legs up and over to the left. Bringing it all back to the center. From here, bring your right knee in, hold your right shin. Left knee in, hold your left shin. Then start to straighten the legs so the feet are pointing up to the ceiling and you have 90-degree angles of your legs. Could you reach up and grab the pinky toe side of each foot? Happy baby pose. So your arms use some strength to pull the legs down. And then this can be held just still, or you can rock side to side and add a little bit of that motion to it. And then find the center, bring the soles of your feet together so they meet, and then come back to that position we started in, the butterfly. So the knees are wide, the soles of the feet are touching each other. Bring one hand to your belly, doesn't matter which one. Lay your left arm to rest by your side. We're going to do a little bit of breathing together before we take our Shavasana. So exhale all of your breath until you're all the way empty. And then inhale very slowly until you're all the way full. So think of inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the breath in. And then exhale slowly through the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way empty. Again, inhale, this time 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep inhaling. 2, 1. Hold it in. Exhaling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more 6-second inhale. Inhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it in. Exhaling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax your hand away from your belly and let your breath become natural. So you don't have to count it, you don't have to control it. Switching into what we call automatic breathing. It's breathing we don't even have to think about. Extend your legs long, so zip your legs together. You might use your hands to help. And then stretch them long along your yoga mat. Coming into our last pose, the resting pose. If you're comfortable doing so, allow your eyes to close. And begin to relax into the floor. So think of becoming heavier. A feeling of sinking or settling. And relaxing the body piece by piece. Relax your feet and toes. Relax your legs. Relax your torso, so from the hips all the way up to the shoulders. Relax the arms, the hands and fingers. Relax your neck and then your head. And relax all the different parts of your face. The forehead smooth. The cheeks soft. Eyes sinking into their sockets. Relax your ears, your nose. Your lips, your chin. Relax your jaw and your tongue. Then from your total relaxation, bring some movement back. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. Back and forth. And roll your head to center. Stretch your arms. Reach them up, over and away. Bend your knees one at a time. And roll over onto your side. And from there, press into the floor in any way that makes sense. Find your way to a comfortable seat. Closing your eyes, hands come together in this moment of gratitude. And may all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, safe, and free. Namaste.